Comparing functions. How can you use tables, graphs, and equations to compare functions? We're going to look at several different movie download services that are offered by various companies. The four companies we're going to analyze are Cyberflix, Skithia, Hotbox, and Supernova. We're going to take a look at how they're presenting charges to their customers. And we're going to look at it in different ways. So first we're going to take a look at Cyberflex. And Cyberflex has a equation to explain what they're going to charge their customers. They have y equals 4x plus 6. What we can gather from this is that this plus 6 is going to represent a membership fee. And this 4, because it's right next to the x, this is telling us that it's going to be a $4 charge for every movie that we would rent if we were to use Cyberflix as our way to rent movies. Second company we're going to look at is Skithia. And what Skithia does is that we have a table here which shows the number of movie downloads and how much each costs. So we need to create an equation so that we can compare these all as equations. So we're going to try, we know we need y equals, and we need to find what our slope is and what our y-intercept is. So when we take a look at slope, we see that the x value, or the number of movies downloaded, changes by 2, and the cost changes by 10. So when we take those two numbers, 10 divided by 2, we end up with 5. So we know that our cost is $5 per movie. Now we need to know if there's going to be a membership fee that's going to be up front. So we need to keep this down to 0 to where the y-intercept would be. And if we see it's dropping by 10, that would be 0 as well. So there's no membership fee with Skithia. They're just charging $5 a movie every time that you download. The next company we're going to look at is called Hotbox. And here Hotbox is going to be used with a graph. Now this graph, we notice that it's starting here. Here's our y-intercept at 30. So we know that we have that much. We need to find the slope for this as well so that we can write an equation. So when we take a look at it, we notice that for one movie, they're going to charge us $2 because that's 32. So each movie change is $2. If we were to write an equation from there, we get y equals 2x plus 30. The last company we're going to look at is called Supernova. And it says for just $24, you can download the first 5 movies with no additional charges. After that, each video is going to cost you $6 per video. So we're going to basically look at two different equations for this. So when we first look to it for up to 5 videos, we know it's going to be $24 no matter what. So we can write the equation y equals 24. Then after that, so we're talking about the 6th video and up, we're going to need to write an equation. So we have to think about this, y equals. We know that we've already paid the $24, so that's our y-intercept. But what's going to change is the movie cost. And the movie cost, being that it's $6 per video, we need to put a number in here, this parentheses is going to show that it's the 6th video. But we don't want to pay for all 6 videos. We're only paying for the 5th video. So we want it to equal 1 to show that we would have 1. What we would do then is take whatever value x is and subtract 5 from that. Because 6 minus 5 would give us 1 video, 7 minus 5 would give us 2 videos. So we would only be charged that $6 per video. So that'll help set that up. So what we're going to do is take all of these side by side, and we're going to compare them all and put them into a table so that we can figure out where the better deal is for us to rent movies from. So let's just take Cyberflix first, and what we'll do is we'll fill the table out for 2 movies, 5 movies, 6 movies, 8 movies, and 20 movies. So if I was going to buy 2 movies from Cyberflix, we would put a 2 into this equation here, y equals 4x plus 6. And we would start to figure out what's going on. So y equals, and again, we're just going to drop in our number here. So 4 times 2 plus 6. So 8 plus 6 is $14. If we're going to rent 5 movies, 4 times 5 is $20. 20 plus the 6, 26. If we're going to rent 6 movies, 6 times 4 is 24, plus another 6 is $30. If we're going to rent 8 movies, we have 48 plus 6 which would give us $54. And if we were to rent 20 movies, 4 times 20 is 80 plus 6 would give us 86. So that kind of gives us a rundown for what Cyberflix wants us to do. Now let's take a look at Skithia. And we're going to use that y equals, and for us we're going to use 5x for them. So we're going to look at 2 movies, so 5 times 2 is $10. When we look at 5 movies, we're going to multiply times 5, so 5 times 5 is $25. We look at 6 movies, y equals 5 times 6, which is $30. We'll look at 8 movies, y equals 5 times 8, which is $40. And the last one, if we're putting in 20, y equals 5 times 20, which is $100. So that gives us their breakdown. The next group we're going to look at is Hotbox. And we came up with the equation y equals 2x plus 30. So when we analyze just 2 movies, we're going to put a 2 in that x spot and start to figure out our numbers. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 30 would give us $34. If we're going to rent 5 movies, 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 plus 30 is $40. If we're going to rent 6 movies, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 30 is $42. We're going to rent 8 movies. 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 plus 30 is $46. And if we were going to rent 20 movies, because we like to watch a lot of movies, 2 times 20 is $40, and then plus another 30 would give us $70. So we can kind of choose right now which company is looking good, but we want to take a look at Supernova as well. And we know for Supernova that for the first 5 movies, it's going to cost us $24 no matter what. So we can fill in this table at 24 and know that that's not going to change. Now what's going to happen is after that, we're going to start adding for every video after that. So for the last 3 on the table, we're going to have to use that second equation, y equals 6 times, and then we're going to drop a value in for x and then add 24. So the first time we're going to drop a 6 in there. So 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 plus 24 is 30. We're going to do it for 8 movies. 8 minus 5, starting from the parentheses, is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. And 24 and 18 is 52. And we're going to do it one more time for 20 movies. 20 minus 5 is 15. We got to figure out 15 times 6, which is 90. And 90 plus 24 is going to give us 114. Okay. So now what we're going to do is take a look at this and analyze and figure out where the better deal is. So I'm going to use a highlighter for this. So if we were only to buy 2 movies, our best bet is to go with Skithia. If we're just going to rent 2 movies a month, that's our best place to go and rent movies. If we're going to rent 5 movies a month, Supernova is looking really good here because then we're still only going to pay that flat fee of 24. Any other service is going to cost us more. Now, if we're going to rent 6 movies, we have 3 choices. They're all actually colliding together. Cyberflix, Skithia, and Supernova are all going to charge us the same amount of money. So we're going to choose any one of those. We have choices, so that's not too bad. And you can probably pick the better movie service at that point. If we're going to do 8 movies, we'll probably pick Skithia because that, again, is the lowest amount. And if we're going to rent 20 movies, this is where Hotbox comes in. That's the only time they're actually looking good. If you are a heavy movie renter, then this is probably where you're going to find your biggest bang for your buck. So let me show you what a graph looks like from this table so we can kind of see a little bit better what's happening. We can see by the graph, if they were all graphed together, we can choose really good places to go based on this. See, if we're only taking 2 movies, we can see that Skithia is our best spot. And as we go along, here at 10 movies, if we were just going to say 10 movies, we want this red line. And that red line represents Cyberflix. And that would be our way to go. So just depending on what's happening, you can see where we're talking about Hotbox, when we're getting past a certain number of videos, 14 and up here, that's where they're the best bet. So even though we said 20, we can see even at 14, they're a better value than the others. So hopefully this is just a little example of how we can compare things, and putting things in equation form helps us to compare what's going on from company to company.